Good afternoon, everyone. Myself Rahul Bansal, Assistant Professor in Civil Engineering Department in Chandigarh Polytechnic College. So, in this semester, I will be teaching you the subject railway, bridges, and tunnels. So, let us start with introduction of syllabus related to the subject railway, bridge, and tunnel. Today, I share a PPT regarding the introduction of syllabus of railway bridge and tunnel so that you can easily understand the basic concepts and techniques related with the subject of railway bridge and tunnel. Here, the first one basic is what is railway engineering? It is the branch of civil engineering which deals with the design, construction process, and mainly maintenance of railway track for the safe, efficient, and economical movement of trains is considered as railway engineering. In India, railway is the most important and economical transportation channel as compared to airways to another railway transportation of raw materials rapidly development of new areas when we provide the railway tracks at that point in first. In India, religious plays are also connect of railways in different parts. Railway also help in maintaining better law and order in the country at time of emergency also like war, terrorism, etc. The Salmian, it is also considered as permanent track because we also considered a single according to that is it is also considered as permanent track. This permanent way consists of rails, sleepers, ballast, sub-ballast, and formations. So this is a component parts of railway track or permanent track with the help of which we can easily lay a railway track at new areas or positions. So in this diagram, we can easily see that there are main components which are rails. In this diagram, we can easily see that rails are made up of cast iron and which are placed parallel to each other and rest upon sleepers. Slipper is another important component of railway track. In this diagram, we see that slippers are rest on the ballast cushion and below the rails. Slippers are of different materials in India like cast iron, concrete or maybe wood. After that ballast. Ballast is the granular particles or metal which are spread over the slippers in between the rails. And in diagram there is a sub ballast which is a layer of cement or clay above the ground level, and last one is formation of subgrade which is below the ground level. This is the diagram of components of permanent wave. So first one we discuss about rail. To understand the concept of rails, first we clear the concept of rail gauge. Here in this diagram we can easily see that gauge. Gauge is the inner to inner distance between the rails which are placed adjacent parallel to each other and rest on the sleepers. So the horizontal distance is considered as rail gauge or simply gauge. So gauge may be defined as the clear horizontal distance between the inner faces. So here the main consideration is inner faces of the two rails forming a track. This is considered as rail gauge. After rail gauge, we can now move to the word rails. In this diagram, we can easily see that The rails are laid on the sleepers, and the combination of rails is considered as railway track. These are made up of cast iron. The main metal is cast iron, and in this, the inner to inner distance between the rails is considered as rail gauge. We can easily see this in the diagram also. So rails are the main part of permanent way, and on the rails, the wheel of rolling stock means train moves directly with the contact. So जो ट्रेन है उसका जो व्हील होगा उसका डायरेक्ट अटैचमेंट और मूवमेंट होगा ऑन दी रेल्स, डायरेक्ट कनेक्शन होगा. Rails are fixed with each other by means of rail fastenings, and they are rested on sleepers. So in India, we can use mainly three types of rails. First one is double-headed rails, second one flat-footed rails, and third one bull-headed rails. Here, first one, double-headed. As according to the name, the rail which have head and bottom both are of the same dimensions is considered as double-headed. In other words, we say that the head and bottom both are of the same, so we can say that both are heads. So this is double-headed rail. In ancient times, we use double-headed rails, but nowadays we don't use because of its heavy weight as well as cost of the rails. After that, we can use in India bull-headed rails. As the names considered, the head of that type of rails are very much big dimension as compared to the feet of the rails. So this is look like a bull shape. In ancient times, we also use this type of rail, but due to some disadvantage like its total weight as well as its stability, we reject this, and now in India we use only flat footed rails. Flat footed, as the name considered, the foot of the rail is nearly equal to flat, means horizontally completely direction. So in India, the flat-footed rails are mostly used because of its proper suitability as well as its light weight as compared to the double-headed rails and bull-headed rails, as well as its economical conditions. So these are some various types of rails which are used in the railway track formation. After the rails, the main consideration is sleepers. Sleepers are the members which are laid transversely under the rails for supporting and fixing the rails having proper gauge distance are considered as sleepers. So sleepers easily hold the rails and maintain the proper distance between them, so at the time of moving train the accident chances can reduce by using the proper fixtures and fastenings so that sleepers can properly attach with the rails. So in India, sleepers are mostly made up with the help of wood, cast iron, and concrete. In diagram, we can easily see that this one is the wooden slipper, this is the cast iron slippers, and these are the concrete slippers. In starting days of railway in India, we use wooden slippers because wood is easily available in India at every place. But due to its some disadvantages like moisture content value in slippers is very high, easily breaking of wooden slippers, easily defected by insects like of wooden slippers, we neglect the use of wooden slippers and we produce cast iron slippers. After huge demand of cast iron slippers, we also reject that because of some its bad effects like its moisture content, second one its heavy weight and its fixed size, so that we can also reject, and nowadays in India we use concrete sleepers. These are of the varying size, varying depth, varying height. These are economical in cost. They have very long life of span, as well as they are easily attached and disassembled with the rails. So nowadays in India we use concrete slippers as compared to wooden slippers and cast iron slippers. After the slippers, the main component is ballast. In this diagram, we can easily see that in between the rails, ballast is easily spread above the slippers and in between the rails. So the material used an elastic cushion between the slippers and top of formation is considered as ballast. Ballast can take the load as well as heat from the rail and it transfer it to the ground of the railway track with the help of slippers and subballast or subgrade formation. The various functions of ballast are: it provides proper super elevation so that the chances of accident of train can be minimized. Second, it also provides a proper drainage to the track so that moisture content is very less in the railways at the time of rain. It provides a hard and level bed for the sleepers. It holds the sleepers in proper position at the time of moving train, and it also helps in transmitting and distributing the moving load from the sleepers to the formation. After that, the next component which is very important is crossings and signaling. We often see that there are various type of crossing when the train is moving from one track to the another track, and this is based upon the combination of crossings and signalings. Here I discuss crossings. So when one rail cross another rail, a crossing always occur. Thus, for that purpose, a special construction style is done when two rails of different tracks cross each other, having a particular angle that is considered as crossings. So in India, we mostly recommended three types of crossings. First one is ordinary or acute crossing. Second is double or obtuse crossing, and last one is square crossing. Here, first one is ordinary or acute. So here, according to the name, we can consider that the angle which have the value less than 90 degree is considered as acute crossing. So in this diagram, we can easily see that the angle between the two flanges of a railway track is less than 90 degree. So it is considered as acute crossing. This type of crossing is obtained when a right hand rail of track crosses a left hand rail of another track and vice versa. This type of crossing is mostly used in Indian railways. Second one is double or obtuse crossing. As the name suggests, obtuse. Obtuse is considered as the value of angle having value more than 90 degree is considered as obtuse angle. So in this diagram we can easily see that there are the two types of crossing which are between the splice rail and point rail. This type of crossing is used which when rails closed each other at right hand or left hand for both the tracks. A double crossing has two noses as seen in the diagram. This one is the single nose and this one is the second nose. And this is mostly used in Indian railways as shown in the diagram. Last one is the square crossing. In this diagram we can easily see that square means at complete 90-degree angle. So the junction where the two tracks is easily meeting, they are meet at an angle of 90 degree. That type of crossing is considered as square crossing. This type of crossing is avoided when there is a rapid wear of crossing. and damage to the rolling stock on account of heavy works. After that, bridge. Bridge is very important component part of this chapter because bridge, as everyone know, what is a bridge? Bridge is a passage of structure which is always provided on the both hand side of a can, can, channel, canal, river or sea, which is depends upon the natural topography of the area as well as their climatic conditions. In our country, the natural topography is different at different areas because in our country there are some portions of mountainous rivers, streams, valleys, channels, and maybe natural drains. So, the construction of a bridge is a difficult task to avoid the damage or failure of bridge and to establish or give the proper passage of vehicles as well as movement of persons from one side of the drain to the another side of the drain, having a long life of span, which is useful for the country also. So here various component parts of bridge are only two. First one is substructure and second one is superstructure. We can correlate this with a building. Like a building, if a building have basement, then it is considered as substructure. And if a building has structure which is above the ground level, it is considered as superstructure. So same in the bridges, the structure below the deck level or below the ground level of the bridge is considered as substructure, and the structure which is constructed above the bridge is considered as superstructure. So here, according to the requirement in India, we have various type of classification of bridges. So first one is permanent bridge. So what is permanent bridge? In India, mostly bridges are considered as permanent bridges because they have long span of useful life on and constructed on rivers, seas, and some big valleys or canals. They are also considered as high cost bridges because the total cost of the construction as well as maintenance of bridges is high. So, according to the Indian standard, the lifespan of permanent bridges should be more than 15 years so that we can consider it as an economical bridge. Second is temporary bridges. Some bridges in ancient times or nowadays we consider it temporary because they have construction as well as maintaining cost is very low and they have use of very small span. So they are considered as temporary bridges or also considered as low cost bridges. According to Indian standard government, the life of that type of bridges is near about 5 to 10 years. After that they can be uh, destroyed for the purpose of permanent bridges. Next, arch bridges. For the architectural appearance and good look, we can also construct arch bridges in India. In this, the vertical dimension of the arch bridge is kept very large as compared to the horizontal dimension of the bridge, so that the economical conditions with the design of bridge can be attained. This type of arch bridges is very simple in the construction and these are used for both road as well as railway track in India. So here some are the types of arch bridges. That one is open spandrel. In this we can see that diagram. There is a valley and on valley we can make or construct a arch bridge having the formation level with the help of some piers, and these are for the architectural appearance we can also provide the arches with the help of beams. The main arch support the columns in this diagram. This type of arches provide good as well as architectural appearance to the bridge. Second type is filled spandrel. In this diagram, we can easily see that on a deep valley, the arch is also constructed, but the above portion of the arch to the formation level is completely filled with the stone or with the help of bricks. So these type of bridges are used when the ratio of rise or vertical dimension to the horizontal dimension is small. After the arch bridges, the main consideration is foundation. Like a building, foundation is the important part for the bridge. If we can provide a heavy or strong foundation, then the life of bridge is also increase. So there are some types of foundation. First one is open foundation. In this type of foundation, it is constructed by open excavation by increasing the area of foundation so that it can gain the much load of the bridge. It is also considered as spread foundation. This is mostly used common type of foundation having a depth of near about 5 meters. This is the diagram of the open foundation. After that, we can use pile foundation. This type of foundation is used when there is a heavy maximum load on the bridge and the soil bearing capacity is low, so that we can transfer the load to the soil and the chances of failure of open foundation is high. So as that position, we can use pile foundation, because piles are the materials or the members which are used in between the RCC cap and hard base, and with the help of piles the load is completely transferred to the hard base of the sea or river, so that the bridge can easily handle heavy loads coming from the top of the bridge. This type of pile foundation is mostly used in heavy rivers or maximum height of seas. After the construction, the maintenance department is heavy much importance. So for the maintenance of bridges, the qualified engineers as well as experienced engineers made an inspection and also record the points of inspection at the time of construction as well as at the time of finishing of the bridge. So some of the points are given as below. First one, any sign of development of cracks in concrete columns and abutments. Next, settlement of foundations. Next, waterproofing coats. Next, also inspection of expansion joints and bearings. Bearings means their fixtures and fastenings for the free movement of bridges. After bridges, tunnel is also important for the movement of person from one point to the another point in hilly areas only. So tunnel is the underground artificial passage which is constructed without removing or disturbing the ground surface. Tunnel are the engineering structures in the form of artificial galleries. So tunnels are having their dimensions according to the topography of the area as well as hard rock or soft rock and purpose of the tunnels. These are constructed for the flowing water or the movement of passage or passengers through a hill or mountainous area. So there are some uses of tunnels which are important. So tunnels are used for the transportation of men, material and goods. In hydropower plants, we can also construct hydropower tunnels for the generation of electricity. Tunnels are widely used for carrying oil, gas, sewage waste from one point to the another point. Tunnels are easily driven to provide approaching to the mines and other underground structures. After the construction of tunnels, drainage of tunnels is a big criteria because at the time of rains, at the time of construction, water is available in the tunnel, and if water is remain in tunnel, so due to the moisture content, the chances of failure of tunnel can be increased. So it is important for us to drain out the water at the time of construction, at the time of completion of tunnels, as well as in the rainy seasons. So after construction, the drainage is also essential to reduce wear and tear of communication route, means tunnel, and also provide safety to the moving vehicles inside the tunnel. So mostly we use two methods for that type. First one is temporary drainage system and second one is permanent drainage system. After drainage, lightening of tunnel is essential for the proper and safe movement of vehicles inside the tunnel. So the spacing of lights inserted in the tunnels will depend upon some factors like dimensions of tunnel, size of light source, and nature of rock surface. If the length of tunnel is very much long, then we provide maximum number of lights inside the tunnel having big size so that the driver or the person inside the vehicle can easily move inside the tunnel and the chances of accidents can reduce. So for that purpose, different type of tunnel lights we use at the time of construction. So first one is acetylene gas, second coal gas, electric lighting and lanterns. Nowadays, we use electric lighting inside the tunnel so that repair and maintenance of lighting also we can provide at that emergency time also. Okay, thank you.